Hello everyone. In this video, we will be looking at what is agenda and what is a notice. So let's see what is an agenda. So agenda means things to be done in the meeting. So agenda is something like where it is a systematic record of items of business in their order of importance. So in an agenda, the routine items are placed first and then controversial matters are placed next. Normally, this agenda is prepared by a secretary of a committee or a group. So normally, agenda is something which is where we can see it before a meeting, where we can see how the proceedings of the meetings will be happening. Now let's see the procedure for preparation of an agenda. So it should be clear and explicit summary of items to be discussed. So agenda should be very clear, and the summary of whatever the items to be discussed is placed in an agenda. Next, the items of the agenda must be stated with subject heading. So the items which we are going to discuss in a meeting should be given a subject heading in the agenda. And then the normal routine like salutations and, for example, appreciations should be kept first, should be placed first, and then the controversial matters which takes time to be discussed should be placed later. Next, it should be written on left hand side of foolscap paper with a wide margin for notes. So it should be written on the left side of a paper with a wide margin for notes, so that if we want to have a notes for any of the headings, we can write a notes but corresponding to it. Next, it must be typed in separate sheet of paper and attached to the notice. So it should be separated with the notice on a separate paper. Next, it should be written within the scope of a meeting. So an agenda should be written keeping in mind what are the different things which we will be discussing in the meeting. So agenda is completely the thing which is dependent on what we are going to discuss in a meeting. Next, let's see the examples of an agenda in FPOs. So in the picture, we can see there are a group of people of an FPO sitting behind, and a person is addressing them. So the agenda of this FPO goes like this, where the first agenda in the meeting is welcome note by the chair. So the welcome note will be spoken by the chair. So that is the first subject heading which we will be placing in the agenda. Next, the next agenda in the meeting is approval of minutes of the previous meeting. So whatever the decisions or discussions which we have taken place in the previous meeting, we will be approving those minutes in the present meeting. So that also should be placed in the agenda. Next in the agenda of the meeting comes the announcements, where we will be if there are any announcements which we are going to make. These announcements which will be done in this at this moment. Next is, as we have to discuss the controversial matters or the main part, we should discuss the main key issues. Now we will be discussing the FPO will be discussing on the issues like challenges we are facing in our present supply chain. So as FPO is mainly dependent on supply chains, the people or the members of the FPO are sitting together, and they will, in the meeting, they will be discussing on what are the challenges they are facing in the present supply chain. So that is the item number 1, which they are going to discuss in the present meeting. The next item or key issue which they will be going to discuss is the strategies for sustaining the FPO and better integration in the value chain. So they will be discussing about the different key strategies they will be coming up for sustaining the FPO and also for betterment of the value chain. So these are the controversial matters or the main things which should be discussed in the meeting. So these subject headings should be placed in the agenda. Next is the resolutions to be passed. So after we have discussed a whole lot of things of the different key issues in the meeting, we have to now see that what are the different resolutions to be passed. So there will be a subject heading of resolutions to be passed in the meeting, and that should be kept in the agenda. And also next comes any other matters with the permission of the chair. So like if we want to appreciate any of the member in the in the meeting, we can have such appreciations or such matters in this particular time, but with the permission of the chair. So in the agenda we will be keeping that this time is allotted for any other matters which will be discussed with the permission of the chair. And next in the agenda comes the date and time of the next meeting. So in this present meeting, they will be deciding on the date and time of the next meeting where they will be going to be present for the meeting. Next will be the vote of thanks by the chair. So in the meeting we will be having a discussion, or we will be having description of all the points which we have placed in the agenda. So whatever the things are placed in the agenda, in the meeting they will be going through these proceedings. Next, let's see what is notice. So notices are the means of formal communication targeted at a particular person or a group of persons. So it is like targeting a particular group of people or a person. It is an information of an important event. So if we want to share information on any important event, we will be coming up with a notice, and it can be an invitation, announcement, instruction, or an appeal. So for example, in an FPO, if we want to make an announcement that we will be procuring a new type of crop, then we will be going up with a notice to our stakeholders. Next, let's see what are the different contents of notice. So a notice should cover the 5 W's. One is what, next is where, next is when, then next is who, and next will be whom. So we have a notice should be answering all these 5 W's. Next, let's see what is the format of a notice. The format, the first would be who is the issuing authority or organization. So the name of the issuing authority or the organization should be right at the very top, which will be helping us in the identification on who had come up with this notice. Next will be a title where we will be writing in bold letters notice. Like we should show the stakeholders that, or the readers or the viewers, that it is a notice, it will be grabbing the attention of whoever the reader is. Next, we will be putting up the date so that we can have a record of when this notice is released. Next would be appropriate headings, where we will be giving headings, and then the body of the notice will be coming, where the body will be including what are the key things which we will be discussing in the notice, or it could be an invitation, or it could be an announcement, or an appeal, or instructions, where we will be notifying the people with the help of the notice. Next, it would be writer. Next, at the end, there will be the writer's name, where whoever has come up with this notice, their name and their designation will be at the end of the notice. So this is an example of a notice where it is a notice of call for nominations APAS representatives. where APAS is Agriculture Producers Association of Saskatchewan Inc. So they have released a notice where they are calling for nominations for the representatives. So the body of the letter goes like this, like that nominations will be received by the undersigned at the rural municipal office during regular office hours until Wednesday, which is September 19th at 4 p.m. local time. So the main issue, the main thing which we wanted to portray or showcase through the notice is that they are calling up for nominations of the representatives, and they also mentioned that the nomination papers are available from the rural municipal office, and they also specified an instruction that candidates must be agriculture rate payers in the RM, which is rural municipal. Next, at the end, they have given information like phone, fax, or website, and also they have, at the end, as we have seen in the format of the notice, the name of the issuing authority or the issuing person is given, and the designation of the person is given. So with this, we have come to the end of this video where we have seen what is agenda and what is notice. So in the next video, which is the final video of on the unit 4 of business communication, we will be looking at what is minutes and how to write minutes. So until then, take care. Goodbye.